Welcome to 40 time, because if we don't start, it's certain that we want to ride. I'm sitting here with Aaron Bailey, a decorated football player, a decorated administrator, coach. Aaron, it is a pleasure to have you here and be able to finally sit down with you. I've learned just a couple of weeks ago, I learned more and more stuff about you. I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and we'll jump right into it.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. My name's Aaron Bailey. Currently, I'm the athletic director at Pinewood Middle School, and I'm also the behavior specialist there in the building as well. Been in the district for 13 years now, and I also coach middle school track at Pinewood, and I coached on varsity at the high school for 6 years. So yeah, pleasure to be here.
Man, it's big time, because I don't think the kids that see you walking around the school every day, you know, all these kids that aspire to go D1, all these kids that aspire to go to the NBA, to the NFL, I don't think they understand that you were a 12-year pro in the NFL. You have a son that's in the NBA. You have a daughter that's D1. You had a son. Your oldest son was also a standout football player, D1 athlete. How do you stay so poised and so humble when it comes to parents and all these people that think they know everything that they're talking about when it comes to how to get recruited? How do you stay so humble? Because you're really humble. I wish you would just flex a couple times to really let people understand, like, there's a whole different level to this that you have no clue about.
Yeah, I got that from my father growing up. You know, my dad was a hardworking man, and he taught me just the whole thing about, as far as being humble, humility.
Right? No doubt.
You know, it's one of the things. You know, God gave you 2 ears for a reason, to listen twice as much as you speak.
Facts.
And that's kind of what I go off of. And you know, it's one of the things, as far as raising your kids and everything like that. It's just like, you just want to show them how to work and how to train and how to stay hungry and how to be hungry and how to go after something that you want. The great thing about sports, man, the great thing about sports is, you know, it's going to teach you things that you're going to be able to learn and have for the rest of your life. Right. And the good thing about it is, when I do it with my kids, is, you know, we have fun. We don't push them into anything. But the thing about it is, once you show me that, hey, is this what you want to do? I'm going to give you all the tools and strategies. I'm going to hold you to a higher standard than everyone else. I'm not going to allow you to, if you can get coached hard by me with my kids, they can get coached by anyone.
Exactly.
And so I coach them hard. I'm on mentally also. I have them reading books.
No doubt.
And I have them understand the game, and I want them to be a student of the game. So all these little things that you have to do to become a D1 athlete. My wife, she's a D1 athlete.
Yeah, no doubt.
Her sisters, they're former D1 athletes as well. And so you gotta, it's a mentality. And sometimes it's 90% mental and 10% physical.
Facts.
And some of the things you gotta understand is how, don't listen to how they're saying it, but what they're saying to you. Don't get your emotions put into it and things of that nature. Also, you have to outwork yourself and self-evaluate, self-scout yourself.
For sure.
I look at film, and I'm upset still at some things I messed up in high school. I'm still mad at myself about it. And so those are the things that, you know, I don't remember wins and losses. I just remember little things. So you got to be meticulous on these things.
Definitely. So when you talk about your upbringing, take us into your upbringing. I know you said you're from Ann Arbor. Take us into your upbringing. Let's take that journey into your background.
Born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan. My mom and dad, and had my mom and dad, my sister and I. The great thing about growing up at Ann Arbor, I tell you, man, it's like, you know, of course, it's University of Michigan and things of that nature, but it's things that actually came with it in our community and people growing up in our community. I had Keith Bostic, you know, All-American at Pioneer High School, All-American at Michigan, and then 13-year NFL first round, second round, I don't know, draft pick guy. He lived right down the street from me. Of course, the Harbaughs lived on the other side of town, and other people. And no, there was a time, man, I had hair. and I went to the barber shop, and I used to, you know, My dad didn't take me to the barbershop. I had to either ride my bike or walk up there.
Yeah, for sure.
And guess what? That same barbershop had Michigan football players and basketball players in there.
Yeah.
And
that's inspirational to a kid, man. There's nothing like it.
Exactly. I saw it. I saw it. And I had black men and mentor me outside of my father and my uncles, and
which is huge.
That was very instrumental in the community. That was also there. I saw these Michigan players on a Thursday. They get their haircut for Friday, and then be ready to play on Saturday.
Yes.
I'll see them on TV the next day.
Yeah.
I'll see them the following week, and hey, what's up, little Aaron?
Oh man, there's nothing like it.
And I would see it, and I saw it. I saw the going to Pioneer High School. I saw the campers and the RVs coming in for the Ohio State game on Wednesday afternoon.
Wow.
And so you saw the atmosphere. You saw all that stuff going on in there. And I was like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah.
And so like when you were coming up, were you a multi-sport athlete or were you just a football player?
I was a multi-sport athlete. Yeah, you, and I think that's really good for kids nowadays to be multi-sport athletes. And a lot of, if you look in the draft, they're going to say, hey, he played football, he played basketball, he ran track. You don't want to be a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I get this analogy about the Jays that I always ask the kid, what's your favorite pair of Jays? And Will Kenny, like when I first met him last year, I'm like, Will, what's your favorite pair of Jays? He goes, the 11s. I said, okay. I said, what if I told you that you can go to this store and they got all the Jordan 11, your favorite Jordan 11s, you can literally just get that Jordan 11 and it had it for a discounted price. He said, I would shop there all the time. I said, but what if I told you that there's a street right across the street? There's another store that has every Jordan 11 in every colorway with all the accessories, with all the Jordan 11 sweatsuits, with all the stuff that came with the Jordan 11, the backpacks, and he goes, oh, I would shop there. I said, well, that's what it's like just making yourself only a defensive player or only a football player or only a basketball player. You know, so me, myself, I was a four-sport athlete. And then when I got to high school, of course, they wouldn't let me play baseball and run track, so I chose track. What would you say was the biggest benefit from going from football to basketball to track and then wrapping it around to the off season in the summertime? What was the biggest benefit that you found helped you as you went through high school and then got to college and then got to the pros? What is the biggest benefit what would you say is the biggest benefit?
It kept me active, first of all. Second of all, you work in different muscle groups.
Yes.
And then and another reason why you got different kind of have a different mindset in the sport.
Yes.
Right? So and then
competitive mindset.
A competitive mindset. So I was fortunate. My mom and dad put me in AAU track when I was 7.
Yeah.
And we traveled the nation. My dad took me everywhere. My mom took me everywhere, all over the nation for AAU track. Ended up being a state champion. I won the state championship and here in Michigan in long jump. And, had a pretty fast. Ran a pretty good 200.
He said pretty fast.
And 400 and come from a good pedigree. Our high school had a good pedigree of athletes that came out of Pioneer High School at the time. And, but it really helps when you working on different muscle groups, you're working on different things, your mentality, how to focus, how to lock in on different things. Track is kind of more like individual type things. So you have to, it's specific things you got to do, working different muscle groups and, your gait and everything with your start, your stance and things of that nature. Football is more of a team sport where you gotta like, hey, I have to do my 111 for my job, and I have to make sure this is done right. Everybody has to do something on one accord, but I probably got more hours playing basketball. Honestly, in the parks.
Me too. I was gonna say and I don't mean to cut you off, but that's what I was gonna say. Like I was talking to Mike Thomas, the head coach at Kentwood, and I said, how many of your players you think play more hours without a ref than with a ref? And he thought like. And I said, that's the problem with basketball today, because I can tell you, I probably, if you give 100% of basketball, I probably played 10% of my life with a ref compared to all the pickup games in the park And that's where I feel like you can really work on your game at. It's impossible to work on your game with a coach and a ref constantly in the presence of your game. Like you have to get out there and learn how to get to the park and run 7 straight games. Like that's like winning a championship, when you're playing in that park atmosphere.
Man, I'm telling you right now, growing up playing in the parks, you going against old men acting like it's Game 7 of the NBA championship.
Oh my goodness!
And you better figure it out.
Yeah, and you better learn how to play. And it's like, and once you, because I remember it was like stages. First, First, I used to be the first guy at the park on the free throw line waiting, because I'm shooting my free throw, because the only time you can call winners if you shoot a free throw. So if I made or missed that free throw, I'm calling winners for the next. I was going to play that day, but I usually hit my free throw. But it's like they don't understand. You get to that point, you just want to get on the court. Then you get to a point that when you lose, they start to pick you up, like, because they know little dude, the point guard, he gonna give me the ball. Then you get to the point where now you're bigger, faster, stronger than a lot of them, and you keep losing because you can't understand how it's 11-7, and you end up losing because they cheating you out of those last 5 points. And then it's like you get to that point where you can overcome. Then you get to that point where I tell people, now you can be the aggressor. Now you can be the instigator, talking junk, and really back your game up. And I feel like it's a lot of kids when it comes to the emotional. Like, I love basketball for young kids because I get to see how you really are emotionally. And a lot of kids are an emotional wreck when it comes to basketball. And it's because they don't got the dude that smell like Black and Miles and liquor playing in his work boots. You know what I mean? That's like that you score game point 5 times and still lose because he's calling the foul for you. He won't give you a foul all game, and now it's game point. Now he calling the foul. I call a foul. Well, I didn't call a foul. You know what I mean? So it's like they don't understand that part of park ball is definitely missing. Like, and Grand Rapids has the most beautiful parks compared to, we got one park where I'm from. You got outdoor courts with glass backboards. I remember playing at Cascade Park. It blew my mind because it's the first outdoor park I ever played on that I didn't come home dirty. I'm like, my shoes ain't dirty, my clothes ain't dirty, because I'm used to coming home looking like I work asphalt. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I agree with you with the park ball. Can you share with us some things that when you were, let's get to your junior, senior year. Okay. Can you share with the young kids on how you made your choice on what you were going to pursue, football, basketball, track? What was your thought process when you got to your junior, senior year?
So my junior year, really all my life I knew I was going to play football. But I went along with track, and because I loved doing it, and I was actually pretty good at it. I still got recruited heavily in college by track schools, but I knew in my heart I was going to be a football player. But football has always been number one for me. But I just knew that at some point in time, and it kind of broke my heart, even growing up, even as a sophomore, thinking about it, like, man, one of these days I'm gonna have to give up track. But I loved it so much. I love the grind.
Like you said, you played it from 7 years old. Did you start track before you started football?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's hard. I started baseball before I started any other sport. Right. So having to give up baseball was similar for that. Like, man, it's just like, it's so natural to me.
We couldn't play Little League football until we were 9 years old. But my parents, I was super hyper and active, so they had to put me in something. So track was the thing. So started out as a mid-distance runner, like running 800, and I told my coach, our legendary coach, Coach Westfield, he's in the Michigan Athletic Hall of Fame. I didn't tell him, I was like, look, I need to be a sprinter. So he started putting me in the sprints and everything like that. And I ended up being really successful at that. And it was some great competition in the Detroit metropolitan area. So it's always rough. You make it out of there, you can make it. You can make it out of there. You pretty much smooth sailing. You okay? Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So you know that you're going to be a football player. What was that transition when you got to your senior year and you go, okay, it's football? Can you give any advice on how you pick your college and what made you pick the college and what made you ultimately successful at the choices that you made out of your senior year in the college?
Well, I got a unique situation. So I'm glad we're doing this interview so other young men and children can know with my situation, because sometimes, we say things and people see the end result.
Yes.
The end result is, okay, Aaron made it to the league. But there was a lot of struggles and there was a lot of things that was going on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I grew up with epileptic seizures. My brain kept resetting, and I struggled all my years in school, but I made it. There was no extra stuff like they have now.
Oh man, I
like the 504 plans and all these stuff that you can help extra studying time. So I was a horrible test taker. So I didn't pass the SAT. And back or ACT, back then, they had something that was called the Proposition 48.
Definitely. It was still there when I went to school.
Right. So, for sure. So if you didn't pass it, you had to sit out a year. I still got recruited very heavily by, and there were some schools that say, hey, Iowa, some schools like that. And they're like, hey, Aaron, we're still going to take you if you don't pass it. All the MAC schools, things of that nature. I still have plenty of D1 schools saying, hey, if you don't pass it, we'll still take you. But I didn't pass it. And what ended up happening was I being a kid, made an emotional decision. I was embarrassed.
Yes.
So all these young men and women out there, keep pursuing and keep persevering in your academic endeavors, journeys, and in your athletic journeys. It's things that you're going to hit some bumps in the roads. Keep striving. Keep striving. Keep striving. So what ended up happening was I got embarrassed. I was embarrassed in my city, embarrassed in the Detroit metropolitan area.
That is the hardest
as a
part.
young man.
That's
right?
That's the hardest thing to deal with.
I was very young. I was 17 in college. And so I said, you know what, Mom? I didn't even tell my mom and dad. I said, hey, whoever the first school that calls me, I'm just gonna go. Yeah. And first school that called me was Eastern Michigan.
Okay.
So I ended up going
right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Yep. Now Iowa called me later and was like,
"What are you doing?
What are you doing?" I was like, "Yeah, they called me. I'm just gonna go. I don't care." And so I ended up going to Eastern Michigan for a year. And some things happened at Eastern Michigan over a year. I had a great academic year. I think they wanted me to take a dual enrollment type of thing, right? Yeah. And so I had all my classes except one at Eastern Michigan. They wanted me to take a math class or something at junior college. I'm doing whatever you guys tell me to do. Yeah. And so the NCAA ended up calling back and saying, hey, he's ineligible for a year because he took a class, whatever. I said, hey, I'm just doing what you guys told me to do. At the time, Eugene Smith, he just retired as one of the greatest athletic directors at Ohio State University. He came to me. He was an AD at the time. It's like, hey, we're going to get you out of here, man. And you're going to go to a junior college. We're going to get you to a junior college, and you're going to, because you're not going to sit here another year. You're too good of an athlete to sit here. For sure. And I ended up going to Collegiate DuPage. Ended up graduating there. I want to say that. And making a 2-time All-American. Got inducted into their Hall of Fame. Got inducted into the National Junior College Hall of Fame. And had a great experience. And the thing about it is, like I was telling everybody, you got to keep persevering and keep pursuing your dreams, and don't let anything stop you, and have perseverance. Is because I not only got my bachelor's degree, but I ended up getting my master's. And so, you got to overcome them hurdles as well. And a lot of people say, hey, it's not all about the sports. It's all about the academics. And that's one thing my dad drove into me. Was, make sure you finish. So, I just wanted to fulfill that promise to him. And after he passed away, and just make sure, I'm going to get all my,
no doubt. So, I want to speak to one thing that when you said it, it resonates with me. I come from a small town, Ravenna, Ohio. I remember going into my sophomore year. We had a 7-on-7. We called them passing scrimmages back in those days at Kent State University. I remember after my first 3 or 4 games, the head coach, coming to me like, I want to offer you a scholarship. This is before I ever played it down to varsity football. So I never looked at recruiting like a lot of kids looked at recruiting, because to me it was like I didn't think I was good enough yet. So I always focus on the field. And it was like recruiting was more of a distraction, you know, and so I ended up going to Michigan State. And I remember when I signed, I remember a lot of people in my city going, oh, he's definitely not going to make it. If all these other guys that went, he's definitely not going to make it. And for me, I'm looking at him like, not only am I going to make it, but I'm going to play. Now, at this point, I'm 135 pounds. You know, I go off to Michigan State, and I get hurt into my senior year. So I play 5 games, get hurt. I don't play anymore. So in my mind, because I'm not playing, I can't. I'm surviving off the hype of when I was playing, which was bad because you earn where you're at. So already I got this mixed mind of if I'm not playing, I don't have the work that I should have. But anyway, I go to Michigan State. After the first day of practice, Bobby Williams like, you're definitely on the varsity. You're not redshirting. Call my mom. I'm only 140 pounds at this time. And from that point on, it was like I got the city on my back. I run into academic problems because I tell people this all the time. You can have a 3.67, but if you only going to school to pass tests and pass quizzes and never acquiring knowledge, you never. It's like being the best athlete all your life, and then you get to a certain point and you never trained before. And studying is like training. And if I can say this to any kid, you have to train your mind on any, like it's a process on what you have to do. So I've never learned how to study. So when you get to college, you know, I'm passing every quiz. When I get to the final exam, I got A's in all my classes because I'm taking quizzes. Bomb the whole final exam, D-. Now you got a 1.5 in the class. Like, what about all the tests? None of that matters. We told you that your final exam is 90% of your grade. So it's like the embarrassment of being on academic probation, the embarrassment of facing, you know, getting kicked off the team because you're great. Like, those were the things that in my young mind, I couldn't get over. And like you say, to persevere, like that embarrassment. And I think that's the biggest thing that I feel like I try to give kids now. Like, let's get out your fears. Let's get out your weaknesses now, because that weakness will find you 5 years from now, and you will feel 2 inches tall, and not realize that everybody's pretty much going through the same thing. So you just saying that embarrassment, I feel like that's one thing when we talk about mental health of athletes. I think it's more of embarrassment. It's not about if I'm good. It's not about. It's about embarrassment to this invisible, and I can say non-existent group of people that don't even matter. That group of people is only in your head. Everybody else is looking at you like, look, man, look how far you came already. It took me to be 30 years old. My mom called me one day and literally just, like she was reading the Wikipedia. She literally broke down. You did this. I mean, we were on the phone for 30. She literally, and it was like not even a week later, my grandfather did the same thing. It was like I was so embarrassed that I didn't turn out the way that I thought I would be. And I tell people all the time, if it wasn't for my mother and my grandfather giving me that talk, because I had just moved up here, things didn't go the way that they were supposed to go. And if it wasn't for them giving me that nod, I don't think I would be in the position that I'm in now, because it literally rejuvenated my spirit, because it was just like, here I am thinking I'm letting down these people, and these people are like, well, when you graduated high school, like my mom said, son, I had you at 17 years old. I was a senior in high school. When you graduated, we both were a success because you were supposed to be a statistic just like me. And I never understood that. So you saying that gives me inspiration, because it's like, we just got to tell our stories a lot more. And it's like, I talk to you and now I'm learning these things, now I'm learning these things about you. So when you graduate junior college and you get a bachelor and you get a master's, let's talk about your next level now when you go into professional play. How did that pan out?
So going back, after I left college with the Page, I ended up going to the University of Louisville.
Okay.
It was between University of Louisville and Miami, Florida, with the Hurricanes. And I had Howard Schnellenberger, the great Howard Schnellenberger. He's the one who started Miami, Florida. He's the one that started the whole U movement. He's the one who got the first national championship at the U. He had left the U and went to the NFL and coached for a little bit, then went back to Louisville. And he came to my place that I was staying at in Illinois and was like, hey, I started the U and all this other stuff. But he said, you come to Louisville? I'm gonna let you play both sides of the ball.
Oh man,
But I didn't play both sides of the ball.
They always say that. That's what
but he said I will get you into the NFL. I'm gonna take, and so you know what? When I took a visit down there, I felt like it was home. So it was great, and I had a great 2 years at Louisville, and then I ended up going to the Indianapolis Colts. I didn't get drafted. I was supposed to go like third round, whatever, but ended up slipping. Went undrafted, free agent, ended up going to the Colts, and had an amazing 5 years there. I ended up leaving as an all-time record holder at the time, and kick return yards, single season. Career.
So you used to get busy, is what you're saying. You used to get busy. Okay. I'm putting it all together. You used to get busy.
I did all right. I did okay. It was great. I played in the '90s NFL.
Yeah, and that's a different type of NFL.
It's a different.
That's the NFL that I grew to love. The 90s NFL.
It's a different. That was
the barbarian. That was the barbarian.
Yeah. I actually played with guys at the end of their career, very, very end of the career, that I used to see as a little kid in middle school play, like the Richard Dents and all those greats and legends and stuff. I played against Marcus Allen, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice.
That's huge.
And teammates with.
So did you end up playing with Jim Harbaugh when he was the quarterback in Indiana? Indiana?
Yeah, Jim and I played 3 years together.
Okay. Hold on, did you guys play in the same high school too?
No, Jim's way older than I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm tripping.
That's my guy though.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm thinking like, wait a minute, Jim Harbaugh is my daddy's age.
Jim's way older than I am, but towards the end of his career, we came in. Jim had a great year. He was that captain comeback year. We went all the way to the AFC Championship. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way, but that's how it is. Yeah.
So when you what is the biggest misconception of a lot of parents, kids, players, coaches? A lot of high school coaches, a lot of what is the biggest misconception of the NFL? Like, what should you prepare for when you're preparing to go and wanting to play in the NFL? What is the biggest misconception? Because I think the biggest draw for me was I'm going to get an opportunity to play against the best players, and I'll be known as one of the best players to ever play. Some people it's money. Some people it's like, what is the biggest misconception? And then what is the biggest, we'll just go with the biggest misconception first.
I would say, I don't think people realize how much time we put into our day.
Yeah.
The hours that we put in a week. A lot of people may think, hey, they just go to practice for 2 hours out the day and 2.5 hours, 2 hours out the day, and they're done. No. You're there probably at 5 o'clock in the morning in some sort of treatment and meetings all day. So your early morning meetings, special teams meetings starting at 7:30. And then they go from 7:30 to pretty much to 2. And you're in meetings, and in between you got lunch or whatever, and they're gonna cater everything, which is cool. But it's like, then you go out for practice, then you come back from practice and you meet some more.
And you gotta watch practice.
And then you gotta watch the film of practice, and then you go. Then by that time the day's over with. You're around 6:30 or something like that, and you're finally going home and do whatever you gotta do in those last couple hours before you gotta go back home and do it again. Get some rest. You gotta get a certain amount of hours of sleep as well. And you just gotta, in your diet, your regimen, and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and it's just like a lot of early mornings, and it's a lot of intense studying and film watching and things of that nature. So and it's a whole. It's not just the football players; it's the front office staff. I learned that before. I did the internship with the New Orleans Saints back in 2005, and I actually saw the other side of it doing the internship and everything like that. So it's even the front office staff, man. I tell you, man, they're hard at work doing getting all the logistical things going and everything like that. So it's a business.
It's a business, a multi-billion-dollar business.
It's for sure. Business.
So what was the one thing that when you were in the NFL, what was that thing that stuck with you that put you on the path that to where you're at now? Like, because I see a lot of guys that just, when the game is done, they're done. You know, they fall apart. They don't have that thing that makes them go. What was your biggest inspiration, and what was your why on when you were done playing and starting to raise your family? What was that thing that drove you to be where you are in these kids' lives today?
Yeah. Well, I've always been a kid. I never really got relaxed, but it really was driven in hard when I actually saw it. You never hang chandeliers.
Yeah.
Boy, I saw people here today, gone tomorrow. I've helped guys. Hey man, you moving into your new apartment, new house, and all that stuff, and they got cut the next day. You know how many times I saw that? I've seen guys bring their whole family in from across the country, and next thing you know, they're cut. And so I always was on edge. So all my years playing, I never got relaxed until I got my second big contract. And I wasn't relaxed then.
But it was like you knew you had some stability.
I had some stability. But you never get comfortable in the NFL. So I'm at the point where I'm always self-evaluating and what can I do better. I always check myself and see what I can do better as far as how being a better person, being a better husband, father, son, brother, nephew, cousin, uncle, friend.
For sure.
I always just see what I can do to be great, you know, and those are some of the things that I instill in my kids and in my, you know, and our family values. And hey, you know, what can you do to help others and be great, and never get comfortable with anything, because you know life is short. And you never know, and you never know if we can be here today and gone tomorrow.
For sure.
And you just never know. So you just always want to be able to tell somebody you love them, and be able to tell somebody you care about them, and be that person that somebody will always remember you by, as that person that, you know what, he said something to me when I needed it, and he didn't even know I needed it at the time. But I never got comfortable in the NFL, and I've used those values, and I saw those things. I visually saw it. I visually saw a lot of things that helped me along my journey in my life. You know, going back, like I said, as a little kid, visually seeing, they're doing it. I can do it too. And growing up as a kid in that barbershop, visually seeing guys in the neighborhood who were great, who I looked up as greats, you know, and whatever reason they fell off, they went off the path, right? I'm not going to go in that direction. Visually saw that. So, and, you know, and with the help of my father and my uncles and people in the neighborhood and the community and church and stuff like that, having my support, I couldn't do this by myself.
For sure.
And you always there's always somebody there that's going to, you know, that's helping you along the way, along your journey. So I was blessed with some great parents and great family and great support system, and I couldn't do it without my mom and dad and my sister being along the way. And I had cousins that were very critical of things that they critiqued every little thing. You had 4 touchdowns in that game, but you know, you missed 2 blocks.
That was my Uncle June. that was my Uncle June that I credit a lot. Like I always say, I'm just my Uncle June that had him and had all my, like you said, you get raised by great people that I was able to get out of the family business, which is auto body and being car mechanics and things like that. I'm just my Uncle June that's able to chase what he was actually good at. But like I tell people, a loss, it wasn't that I hated to lose, of course, but a loss, it would be like, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that. You know, you played good. You know, you had 2 picks. Here go your money for 2 picks, or whatever. But a win, it used to be like, oh man, here it comes, man. And for me, I do wish that I would have embraced it a little bit more, because that's college. I remember the first day, and I'll tell people this story. The first day that I went out, Coach Williams, of course, tells me that I'm going to be, I'm going to play. I'm not going to wear a shirt. That was my goal. My defensive coordinator comes up to me like, Coach, he goes, you might be one of the most coachable kids I've ever coached. I'm riding high. But that was all before we watched film. Not even an hour later, after we eat lunch, that defensive coordinator said I should have bit my tongue off because this is the most. It was like, and it was just like we watch film here, like, but it's like I wish that we could watch film with the high school players, and like we do, of course, with the varsity. But it's like we didn't have that back when we were in the 90s. You get what I'm saying? Right. But you did have that cousin, or you had that person that would be like, your stance is terrible. Yeah. Like you're never like just that person that's like, you want to do this and you want to do that and you can't even do that. Like it's like those are the people that I try to gravitate to. Because I was just me and my son were just talking on the way from the game yesterday, and I said there's two types of people. There's people that critique you. A critique comes with solutions. I said now criticism comes with no solutions. It just comes. They could be telling you the truth, and I told him, I said, you take what they say and you use it, and you just don't give them credit back. And I said, somebody that criticizes you all the time, you take their information, you use it, and when it comes time where you can give them that, you can say, well, you know what, my boy criticized me every day to get me to where I'm at. You don't give them you don't give them any type of pub, but the person that critiques you, you always you have no problem showing them that love. You know, so when we talk about your family, let's talk about your mom, your dad, and your sister. Okay. And then we'll get into your wife and your kids and stuff like that. So let's talk about the dynamics of your household growing up and how it shaped you into being the dad that you are in your household now.
Yeah, very unique situation. All right, so I was adopted.
Oh, okay.
I was adopted at 2 weeks old. Okay. My biological mother, Creole girl from New Orleans. Okay. She was only 14, 15 years old. She came up to Michigan to have me, and my mom and dad got me by the time I was 2 weeks old. Okay. Once the paperwork and all that stuff. Yeah. The same with my sister as well. My mom and dad couldn't have kids. They tried, but they couldn't have kids. And I'm telling you, man, I feel I've been blessed by God.
For sure.
Since I was in that young lady's womb.
For sure.
And I would just say, the Lord placed me with two great parents. Yeah. You know, my dad, he had some struggles in his life. My grandfather passed away at an early age when he was only 7. Yeah. And so he was left to take care of the family. Yeah. So everything went from great. Yeah. Granddad working in GM and Ford and all that other stuff. Yeah. Ends were meeting, over-meeting, overflowing into poverty. So, so my dad ended up going to the Air Force, and my mom, they ended up meeting each other in Detroit. They moved to Ann Arbor, got me and my sister and I, and just had a blessed upbringing in Ann Arbor, on the west side of Ann Arbor. Yeah. And it was always kids outside and having a good time, playing sports and everything. Just a
beautiful situation. Yeah. You know, it's like the way you tell the story. And it's just like it's like I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, God was definitely working in your life. Everything that you are was meant to happen. You know what I mean? It was written. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And people don't see that. People don't know. And sometimes I forget. Don't forget. My mom is my mom, and that's the Lord gave me. Blessed me with her, and I don't know where I'd be without my mom and dad.
No doubt,
honestly. So,
no doubt.
And so things could have been way left. Yeah, So So I'm very blessed.
And it's like me, my father. I call him my father. It's not my biological father. Yeah. But him and my mother got together when I was about 6 months old. I tell people all the time, I ain't no stepdad, that's my father. Like, that's my father. I have the father-son connection. Like, to me, God put us together. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, I have no problem with my biological father, but, I think the reason why I respect my biological father so much is because the day I met him, I was 21. My oldest son was maybe a couple weeks old when I first met him. The first thing he said, it's like, I found out about him when I was 13, and it was a messed up way that I found out. Yeah. And you got all these emotions like, man, I'm gonna hit him in the face when I seen him. First thing he said was, how's your mom and your dad doing? It was just like, and it was just like, man, you know what I mean? Like, and it was to have a biological, like, I understand that connection, but there's no connection that's gonna ever be like my father. I lost my mother a couple of years ago, and it's it's like my dad. I remember being at my mother's funeral, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I can't do this. Like I can't, I'm keeping it together, but I'm like, I can't do this. And I just remember, my mom and my dad were best friends. Mm-hmm. Like always been. My dad didn't have a bunch of homeboys. My mom didn't have a bunch of homegirls. It was like they was that couple. Like one yawn, they both like, "Ooh, we tired." Like, hey, how you? It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's 6 o'clock in the evening. But I just remember. I remember when I got like my dad. I knew my dad had lost his person, mm-hmm. and I'm thinking, man, I gotta keep it together for my dad. I gotta keep it together for my grandparents. I'm thinking like I can't be the person to be outwardly emotional because I have my kids, I have everybody around me. My dad, I've never seen that amount of strength from a man ever in my life. Like mm-hmm. my dad stood up and was the leader that it's like your dad's a leader. Yeah. But from that day on, it was like I was of course I'm his son. But I was somebody's baby at that point. You get what I'm saying? It gave me the strength to stand right next to him and greet people. And, and I never forget when I showed up, because I got there a little late. I showed up and I remember my dad, like, it's a funeral. Everybody's, everybody's mourning, whatever. Mm-hmm. And my dad stopped the whole funeral. He said, in case y'all wondering who this is my son, the number one stunner. This is Jackie's number. Like he's talking about my mom, and it was just one of those moments. Like it's to hear your story. People don't understand like that connection, that love is deeper than any. It's like for somebody like I don't like they talk about blood is thicker than what I don't subscribe to that. It's really like an intentional. It's like God was intentional by putting us in the position that we were in. You know what I mean? Whether it's good situation, bad situation, but in my life, I can't. All the decisions all the mistakes that I made come from me. They don't come from somebody else. Right. The things that I did wrong come from what I did wrong. It doesn't come from where my mom did this or my dad did this or no. Every bad decision I made came straight from me. I had 100%. I had 100% ability to not make that decision or whatever it was. So that's a bit like you are inspiring me in a way where we're having a conversation, but it's just like, it's a reason why I am where I am, and I truly appreciate you just sharing these things, because I guarantee a lot of people don't even know your playing career and everything that you've done, but it's probably a lot of people that know you that may not know just the stories that we're. So I appreciate that candid look into your life. Now, when we talk about you as a family man, how and understanding your background and your parents, how did that shape you into being the parent that you are?
Just mimicking what my mom and dad did. Mm-hmm. I came to Grand Rapids probably 20 years ago, and I ended up meeting Jen and my wife now, and she's a counselor here at the high school, and it's probably been the best day of my life. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And we're a blended family, and we don't say step in anything. Yeah, ain't no step. So they're all brothers and sisters. And honestly, Jen's the rock of our family. She gets everything done, and she holds it down for us. Yeah. And you're talking about a woman that has your back, and she understands me, and not just her, but it's the Carter family that comes with it, and it's like it's just a blessing. Yeah, for sure. To have them around as well, and she does everything for us, and she's the one who organizes everything and organize all the trips. Yeah, organize all the AAU functions. Yeah. She has everything intact, and so it's she's the backbone and rock of the family, and it's just a blessing to have her in my life. And sure. Yeah, sometimes I figure out like, what was I doing without her? So, you know what I'm saying? But it's a blessing.
Shout out to Miss Bailey, Mrs. Bailey. I'm sorry. Now tell me about your kids. Tell me about your kids.
So 4 boys, 3 girls. Okay. Aaron, then it's Ashley, then it's Ariana, Amari, Mike, Alana, and Aaliyah.
Okay.
I kind of didn't do it in order, but yeah.
Okay.
But Aaron, he all-state quarterback.
Yeah.
In Illinois.
Yeah.
State championship.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
4-star athlete.
Yeah.
Coming out, went to University of Illinois.
Okay.
Ash, he went to school here, graduated from EK, all-state.
Okay.
Ended up going to Tennessee State on the track scholarship,
Yeah.
holding a lot of records in their Hall of Fame at Tennessee State. Ariana, the same thing, all-state athlete here. Ended up going to Tennessee State on the track scholarship. She's there.
Okay.
Mike, he's an all-state basketball player. He played 2 years here at EK. Then Mike went out to Delaware to play out there with. We sent him out there with our with my brother and sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Made all-state.
Yeah.
All everything out there. Mike had an academic scholarship to Alabama A&M.
Yeah.
Mike's a computer science major.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mike is very smart, very, very, very smart.
Yeah.
With on that computer.
Yeah.
So smart that the U.S. government was recruiting.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up.
And then it's Amari. Amari, he's the youngest son. Amari, he played at Sierra Canyon High School. Yeah. Couple few state championships. Made Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of California.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
McDonald's All-American. Yeah. Jordan All-American. He ended up playing 1 year at UCLA.
Hooper is what you're saying.
Basketball. Playing 1 year at UCLA.
True Hooper.
And got drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. Now he's with the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. Okay. Currently. And then it's Alana. She graduated from EK last year. She's at her freshman year now at Ball State University on a volleyball scholarship. So she made All-State also for 3 years in track here, and but she's going to Ball State just to play volleyball, and she's on a full ride scholarship. And she's doing great. So after this interview, we Jen and I said we're heading to Indianapolis, going down there. And then it's Aaliyah, the youngest, the baby of the family. She's having some success in track. She made All-State, made All-American. This last year as a freshman. And so things are looking good for her. She's that's my project. So that's my last project.
If I look at her 6 siblings, like she gotta she gotta do a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like she gotta do a lot. Like I'm looking forward to seeing her on the track because she's only gonna get better. You know what I mean? She's only gonna get better. So man, I appreciate you sharing these things. I was interviewing Vinny. I was interviewing Coach Spence. I'm really looking to put a panel together so we can really sit and figure out how we can really get to the fundamentals of building up our community in a way like we grew up. When you're talking about having a way where our players come back and we get the community involved for these kids to see success around them all the time. I tell people all the time, like, my grandfather, I lived my life wanting to be my grandfather. So when people see me doing the things that I do, like I hear his voice. The one commercial, the insurance commercial where they get in the wreck and then the one guy's voice come out. Like I hear his voice come out of my mouth a lot. Like I can hear him speaking. So for me, I want to be him. So it's like a lot of us want to be the men that raise us. As I sit and do these podcasts, 99% of the people say their father was the number one person to inspire women as well. Like so it's like I'm really understanding that if we can make fatherhood the new, what do the kids call it, the new swag or whatever, like that's the type of thing we want to put forward because we ain't old, wrinkly, beat up dudes. We some fly dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like we are who we say we are, and I just appreciate you giving me this time. It's been a long time coming. I remember 2 years ago, 2023, me and my son were working out, and you said, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but I was like, man, I got a son. I'm thinking about bringing him to Kentwood next year, and you was like, hey, You want your kid to be good, bring him to death row. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit nice stuff. So it's like, and then a year later, it's like, hey, I'm here, brother. I'm here. You know what I mean? In a good situation. So I appreciate you, man. Hey, this was great. Taking time out of your schedule. I know you deal with a lot of my players over there at Pinewood, so I know they might have APB out on you right now. But I appreciate you, Aaron. This meant a lot to me, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more stuff like this.
I appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to you, though. You know, like as a parent, because you have arguably one of the best football players on our 78er football team. Your son in the league, right? Mm-hmm. And and sometimes your son, he doesn't get the ball all the time. Yeah. He gets the ball one time, two times, but those one or two times that he gets the ball, he's scoring touchdowns. Yeah. Now, and as a parent, and I see I'm putting my athletic director hat on. As a parent, we get sometimes parents are concerned about kids not playing, and it's a process, right? It is a process. And I think, it's a process of learning and things of that nature. Yeah, he's out there a lot, but the opportunities, we can feed him the ball. He can score every time we throw your son the ball. He can get a touchdown every time, but it's a process. It is a process. And getting everybody else involved with it.
Because we're trying to build a program. It's not about my kid. Like, who cares how, like, if my son can score every time, like I'm the guy, like you said, the people that criticize you, like, you ain't playing against nobody. You ain't playing against nobody, because if you were playing against guys like you would have to learn how to ball. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's like, dude, like, we got to build this program. You know what I mean? And I trust that process.
And I plead, that's what I want to give you. Just take my hat off to you as far as trusting the process. For sure. You understand, as a coach, as a mentor, we are being father figures to those young men that don't have fathers in their lives. For sure. And I appreciate you, Coach Mayfield, Coach Mag, all the other coaches, Trey, Durr, who am I missing?
We got Coach Tone.
Coach Tone.
We got and one of my favorites, I call him OG, Coach Dave Thomas.
Coach Dave Thomas, he's the greatest. So I appreciate all of y'all, because it's the reason why I was able to assemble you guys and be able for you guys to pour into these guys, man, and everything that you guys are doing out there for these kids, man. You might hear some flack, or I might hear some stuff from parents, but that's okay. That's what we want. Yeah, we ain't running from it.
No, definitely not running from it.
But my thing is, I just appreciate you, because your son is gonna go D1, and it's clear cut. He's a very smart young man. He's a very articulate young man. He's well grounded. He has you in his corner, and he has a God-given ability. Yeah. And I just want to say I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, brother. Hey, my man. Hey, look. I look forward to us building more content that just help not just the youth, but just everybody involved. So I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Appreciate you.